Hey there, fellow Hunter x Hunter fans! Welcome to the Hunter x Hunter Institute, where we dive deep into the amazing world of our favorite series. So let's talk about the Black Whale, that massive ship heading towards the mysterious Dark Continent. Do you think it's gonna make it there in one piece? I mean, with all the crazy stuff happening on board, it's hard to say. Right now, as the ship sails closer to the Dark Continent, the Kakin Empire succession contest is also taking place on the Black Whale. And let me tell you, the story unfolding there is like a roller coaster ride. It's so packed with excitement that you almost forget they're on a journey to the unknown. We've got the intense battles for the throne going on, the Mafia making their moves, and on top of that, we have the notorious Phantom Troop, the enigmatic Hisoka, and a bunch of other characters with their own agendas, all tangled up together. Now here's something that's been buzzing among fans lately: the theory that the Black Whale might sink. Can you imagine that? We've dug deep and come up with 4 possible reasons to support this theory. It's gonna blow your mind, so stick around till the end of the video. Oh, and a quick heads up, this video includes some content that isn't published in the manga. Get ready, folks! We're about to embark on an incredible Hunter x Hunter adventure that'll leave you wanting more. Let's jump right in and explore the fascinating world of our beloved series together. Number 1. Dark Continent and New Continent. Let's dive into the juicy details about the Dark Continent and the New Continent. As we all know, the Black Whale is on a thrilling adventure, sailing towards the Dark Continent. But here's the thing, before it reaches the Dark Continent itself, it's actually headed to a place called the New Continent, which is right before it. The Black Whale ship is huge, carrying a whopping 200,000 passengers. Among those passengers, there are tons of regular folks who dream of moving to this new continent. It's not just the royal family of Kakin and other VIPs on board, it's a mix of people from all walks of life. So, once the ship arrives at the new continent, the official part of the journey is over. But the real excitement begins because they have to venture beyond the border waters, which is guarded by these cool gatekeeper creatures called magical beasts. These gatekeepers summon guides to help the ship navigate through treacherous waters and reach the Dark Continent, where the infamous 5 threats lurk. Oh, and here's an interesting tidbit. The journey towards the new continent, right before the Dark Continent, takes a whopping 2 months. And guess what's happening during this time? The intense battle for the throne, known as the succession contest, goes down. It's like a whole drama unfolding on this massive ship. Number 2. Why would the Black Whale sink? Let's talk about why the Black Whale is going down. I've got 4 reasons lined up that I can't wait to share with you all. Are you as pumped as I am? Here we go. Reason 1. Nasubi's words. You know, the Emperor of the Kakin Empire, Nasubi Ro. In his mind, he mutters something like, gather 200,000 sacrifices and use the ark to cut open a path to your heart's content. That's some heavy stuff, right? It seems like Nasubi is willing to sacrifice everyone else on the Black Whale ship just to secure his victory in the succession contest. That's a bold move, but it tells us a lot about his ambition and determination. Now, remember that scene where they put Momose's body in a coffin? Yeah, that one. Well, here's the kicker. There were 14 coffins in total, but only the one with Momose's body had a lit fire in front of it. What does that mean? Well, if all 14 coffins are filled with bodies, something big is gonna happen. It's like a secret mechanism waiting to be triggered. If we assume that these coffins represent the 14 Kakin princes, it suggests that none of them will survive the succession contest. Only Nasubi, the last man standing in the royal family, will remain. But hold on, let's not jump to conclusions just yet. You see, here's where it gets interesting. When we look at Nasubi's guardian spirit beast, we can tell that he genuinely wants his descendants to thrive. Guardian spirit beasts are connected to the host's personality and emotions, right? Well, Nasubi's guardian spirit beast has a symbolic appearance, representing someone who desires the prosperity of their offspring. This makes me doubt that none of the princes will make it through the war from the very beginning. It's a puzzle that keeps us guessing. On top of that, Nasubi drops some more hints. He says, I am already part of the ritual, and that the succession contest will continue until one becomes the blessed child. From these clues, we can predict that only one prince will emerge as the future royal of the Kakin Empire. And in that mysterious coffin, there will be 13 princes alongside Nasubi himself, forming the foundation of the successor. So, it seems like the meaning behind gather 200,000 sacrifices and use the ark to cut open a path to your heart's content is that Nasubi intends to sacrifice everyone aboard the Black Whale ship except for the one chosen successor. But wait, there's another twist. The Black Whale is packed with Kakin citizens, right? We might think Nasubi would hesitate to sacrifice his own people, but in a conversation with Haukenberg, he drops this bombshell. What we must preserve is the country. It's about the lives of our citizens. That leaves us wondering about Nasubi's true intentions. What's his endgame? The mystery deepens. Reason 2. The first layer is an independent ship. So, remember when the Black Whale made its grand entrance? We got that epic top-down view, and I bet some of you were like, whoa, what's with that separate ship on top? As the story progressed, the mystery surrounding the Black Whale started unraveling, and we learned that the ship's structure is divided into layers. And guess what? That ship on top is none other than the first layer. It's where all the royal folks and the big shots from the V5, including politicians and high-flying business people, reside. Now here's the interesting part. The first layer is like a self-contained haven for these VIPs. It's designed in such a way that they can evacuate whenever they want. Just imagine, they have their own independent ship. Talk about luxury, right? As for the second and third layers, these sections are heavily fortified with thick walls, creating a clear division. And get this, the walls can only be opened or closed from the second layer in case of emergencies. It's like a fortress within a ship. So, who's on board the second layer? Well, we're talking about big names from various fields, prominent figures, and the wealthy elite. They sure know how to secure their spot, huh? And as for the third layer and beyond, that's where the regular folks, the general passengers, are supposed to hang out. But let's face it, my friends, this setup raises some serious red flags. It's like a clear indication that the upper crust will survive while the rest might end up being left behind. Reason number 3, Mizaistom's statement. Mizaistom is in a conference room on the ship, and he's dropping some serious bombshells. He said the murder cases happening on board the ship will keep on increasing in the future. But here's the real kicker. Mizaistom says that when these murders hit a breaking point, chaos will erupt on the Black Whale. We're talking about a full-blown riot among the 200,000 passengers, and the ship might even go down. Can you believe it? The whole ship's sinking, people freaking out left and right, and fear spreading like wildfire. Now, Mizaistom has a theory about all these killings. He's pretty sure it's connected to the succession contest for the throne, and specifically, he suspects the Kakin Mafia's Haile family is pulling the strings behind the scenes. Those sneaky buggers. But here's the thing, Mizaistom's not just speculating. He's been paying close attention to what's been happening on board since day one. And let me tell you, he's not happy with what he's seeing. According to him, the crime rate on the Black Whale is off the charts, especially in the lower levels. It's like a wild jungle down there with no proper law and order. The medical team is a hot mess. Their plans, utterly senseless. And get this, they only have 1/15 of the initially planned staff. That's like 0.0% of the number of doctors they were supposed to have. Can you imagine? It's like a healthcare disaster waiting to happen. But guess what? Up on the upper levels, things are a whole different story. They've got this great medical support system with one doctor for every 20 people. Talk about inequality, right? Mizaistom remarked that he underestimated the negligence of Kakin, questioning whether this negligence is mere carelessness or if the lower levels were intentionally neglected from the start. Considering the fact that the first layer has become an independent ship and the management system in the lower levels is chaotic and poorly organized, it's hard to believe that this is all just a coincidence, isn't it? Mizaistom too muttered in his mind, "The fuse towards destruction seems to be shorter than I imagined." This further strengthens the sinking flag that keeps popping up. Reason 4. Similarities with the Titanic. Now, I know this is a popular topic, but let's take a moment to appreciate the awesome connection between our beloved characters and that iconic movie. You probably heard about the inspiration behind Leorio's name, right? Well, rumor has it that it's a clever nod to Leonardo DiCaprio. Yep, they took the first and last 2 letters of his name and voila, Leorio was born. And when we think of Leonardo DiCaprio, what's the first thing that pops into our heads? You got it, the epic movie Titanic. Now, if you read the Dark Continent arc while keeping the Titanic in mind, you must have noticed some close similarities between the Black Whale and that infamous ship. Let's break it down, shall we? First off, both the Titanic and the Black Whale had this whole fancy hierarchy thing going on. I mean, just like the Titanic had its upper-class folks, the Black Whale has its own deck divisions with all those high-profile peeps strutting around. Now, since they're both ships, we all expect them to have lifeboats. But guess what? Those lifeboats and the number of people aboard the ships don't match at all. The Titanic had a shortage of lifeboats, and the Black Whale, with its layers and all, couldn't possibly fit all 200,000 people on board. Now, when the passengers on the Titanic realized the ship was sinking, panic ensued. However, there was a music band that continued playing until the very end, trying to calm down the passengers amidst the sinking ship. On the Black Whale, we have Melody, a music hunter. She can play a soothing song called A Field in Spring that we got to hear when Kurapika was distraught after seeing Yuvagan. While we can imagine the gentle Melody sacrificing herself to bring calmness to the sinking ship, we hope it doesn't become a reality. Now, let's summarize the reasons just why the Black Whale would sink. Number 1. Remember Nasubi's cryptic statement? He said, "You can go all out and carve your own path on this massive arc filled with 200,000 sacrifices." Sacrifices? Yeah, I know it sounds intense, But what could Nasubi be hinting at with those words? Is there something more to this grand voyage? Reason 2. The Black Whale ship is not your ordinary vessel. Nope, it's like a shipception, with each layer functioning as an independent boat. Can you imagine the logistics behind that? It's like a floating city within a city. But hey, that also means there are multiple points of vulnerability, right? Could this complex structure be a factor in the ship's eventual downfall? Reason 3. Mizaistom, the Wise One, drops some serious truth bombs. According to him, the ship will sink because of the sheer chaos caused by fear and suspicion among the 200,000 passengers. Talk about a recipe for disaster. Imagine being trapped on a ship with all that tension and unrest. It's like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Will the passengers' worst fears become a reality? Number 4. There are striking similarities between the Black Whale ship and the infamous Titanic. Yep, you heard that right. It's like Togashi-sensei took a page out of history and sprinkled it into the world of Hunter x Hunter. Iceberg ahead? Well, maybe not literally, but you get the idea. Looking at it again, you can't help but notice all these hints that the ship will be sinking. So, my fellow fans, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the Black Whale sinking theory? Do you have any wild predictions or hidden theories of your own? Drop them in the comments below. Let's ignite the discussion and unravel the mysteries together. Alright folks, that wraps up our discussion on why the sinking of the Black Whale seems like a plausible scenario. Now personally, I've got goosebumps just thinking about the epic battles that await us in the succession contest. I mean, seriously, the clash between the royal princes is going to be off the charts. And here's the deal, if the Black Whale does end up sinking, I'm crossing my fingers that it happens after the conclusion of this intense showdown. It would be a fitting climax, don't you think? I know you're all dying to find out how the succession contest will unfold, and I bet you're eagerly awaiting the journey to the Dark Continent too. If that's the case, then you're already a part of the Hunter x Hunter Institute. Welcome aboard! We're dedicated to bringing you more fantastic content that celebrates the brilliance of Hunter x Hunter. We've got more videos, more discussions, and more fandom love coming your way. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel because you don't want to miss out on any of the excitement. Stay tuned, because the adventure is just getting started. Catch you all in the next video, my awesome Hunter x Hunter crew. Keep the excitement alive!